Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and today I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley.
It was the finale, the grand finale, in fact, of Game of Thrones. So this is probably the last time we'll ever talk about it, really.
Nah,
unless we talk about it at the end of the year.
We'll bring it back.
Yeah.
When we do the great rewatch, and we watch all of them from the start.
Yeah, I was looking at that actually. You can only get the first series on 4K Blu-ray, and even that apparently is only an upscale because they shot it originally in 1080p. So
wow.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to bother, but I did see that the full 1 to 8 box set is currently on pre-order at Amazon for £300.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I think my ears are bleeding and my eyes are falling out.
Yeah. £300.
£300.
Yeah, I know. It's ludicrous, and there's absolutely no reason for anyone to buy that. I'm sure if you leave it until after Christmas, you'll probably find it.
I think I'll pop
cheap enough.
into like a lot of the charity shops and stuff and pick up the DVDs or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, you can buy seasons 1 to 7 on Blu-ray for $69.99. So why the fuck? I mean, season 1 is...
And then buy season 8. Yeah.
Yeah, you can pick up the seasons individually for less than that. But I think it's probably going to come in some Uber box.
Does it come with 3 dragon eggs that you need to like be burned alive with?
Yeah, I don't know.
To fulfill your destiny.
This is, I think it's just a placeholder. They don't have really any idea what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the
Brilliant.
the e-commerce side of this. Let's actually get into the final season itself, and it's had a lot of mixed reviews. Plenty of people had a lot of things to say about it, and how disappointed they were with it. My overall feeling is that I thought it was fine. I've heard reports of people who have actually already gone through and rewatched it and have said that Daenerys' storyline tracks perfectly well. It just feels... I think a lot of people
complain... it might be a 2-year gap. I think what did it.
I think that's the main thing. And also, to be honest, I think I could have done with, like, even if they were, like, shorter seasons, I could have done with 6 episodes of At the Wall dealing with the Night King, and then another 6 episodes of Daenerys going mad and doing what she did at King's Landing.
Yes.
I think it just felt really abrupt, and even more abrupt because of the 2-year gap. But I think overall, I think they did a really great job with what they had. Obviously, it's a shame that the show had to overtake the books, which will probably never come out. I'm convinced.
They'll come out.
I'm pretty convinced they won't ever come out.
They might not be written by George R. R. Martin. They might be like from the understudy of George R. R. Martin. Yes, I knew what he was doing all along. And I almost guarantee that the ending will be different because that will be a publisher decision to sell the books.
Well, it will be different because
they'll
it's got
sell it
loads
as
of...
the true ending.
Yeah, well, exactly. And the thing is, another reason it will be different is that there's all these other characters in play in the book. Apparently, I haven't read them. Someone did ask me actually if I would bother ever reading them, and I just said if they ever get finished, I will.
Yeah. I might pick up the others. I don't know if I'll read through them, but I might just pick them up in anticipation. Just pick them up and put them on my shelf and just wait. I've got currently the first 3 books, and I did read those, and I stopped simply because the TV show was so awesome, and I didn't want that whole divulgence. You know, your brain's getting confused. What's going on? Oh no, that's from the books, not the show. And I just thought I wanted to enjoy the show for what it is.
Yeah, it never appealed to me doing that. But what did you think, Marcus? Then
Initially, I understand. I can totally see where it's coming from and where it's gone, but I just think the way it was handled was a bit weird. My only I mean, the internet has this all over, so if you don't know what's happened yet, unfortunately, pause this and jump ahead probably about 10 minutes.
Oh, this is full spoilers.
Yeah, okay. In that case, you missed out, buddy. But I just think that whole thing with, was it The Bell? The episode was called or something like that?
The Bells.
The Bells.
The Bells.
I just think that the way that the act occurred, starting with the innocence and then making your way to the keep, should have been in reverse. It would have sold the idea more if you could see the rage was there on her face. Unmistakable rage. If she went straight to the keep, Cersei got away from the window and the mountain, and so she couldn't flamethrow her, and she just started burning the Red Keep. That wasn't enough, so she started burning all of the people in the town. That would have sold it to me, because then you could see the desperation building that she just needs to hurt someone to answer for all the things that have happened. But it was just the way that starting lower down at the civilians and then going after the Red Keep, that was the only bit for me that kind of felt a bit weird. So it wasn't the actual thing of her going dark side. It was just that way that those events happened felt weird, because it wouldn't have changed the plot at all.
Yeah, it was the execution.
Yeah,
but I think what they went. I think Game of Thrones has always been a show full of, shock.
But the thing
and stuff.
I get that, but I think then the shock could have been that she goes up to the Red Keep, and alternatively, Drogo eats Cersei, like proper chows down on her, really horrifically. Because we haven't seen a proper horrific death in a while, and ending the show, or having the last big horrific death being Cersei getting a really nasty ending, almost like poetically how Joffrey got a really nasty purple way of dying. Proper screams, anguish, all of that, and then burning the keep, and then it's not enough. It's like, okay, it's still empty. You could see it on her face, and then she just annihilates the city.
But you also have to think about all the other characters that are in play. I mean,
but that's what I mean.
The Hound has to have a reason to get where he went. But
that's what I mean. But then they could have, all of the other events could have still happened, but you wouldn't have seen Cersei there.
But the reason the Hound was going up there, was he was
going up there to basically, because that was where they were. He could still have met at that point, heading up, if Sir Gregory was coming down, because he can't take, or he goes to take on the dragon, he can't, and he's forced to retreat. He goes down the stairs, meets the Hound. The whole Jaime arc, Jaime gets there, it's too late, everything's burning. He can see like the arm with her bracelet, probably still holding the wine glass, and he goes, there's nothing left for me. So he goes down to the bottom part, and then he dies in the crypt because he can't escape. The only problem with that is that we wouldn't have that great scene with them both together where she finally breaks down. I thought that actually got me a bit. I thought it was really, really weird to kind of feel sorry for Cersei a little bit at the end. But that's the opposite of the whole shock thing.
But that's what that's the cleverness to me is that somehow, even though some people complained it was like this handbrake turn or whatever, but by the end of it, you feel sorry for Cersei, and we felt the whole. Like, up until this point almost,
like,
we've not felt that.
Bitch. Yeah.
And they somehow really managed to earn that. I found that quite profound how they managed to do that. And also, complete this transformation of Daenerys into this monster.
Yeah.
Which, in the final episode, I thought just was so epic. Yeah. The way that you see the dragon wings kind of behind her, and it's just like they had never fully done that, and they really framed it in such a way, like they've been saving
the dragon emperor. She wasn't the thing is, to me it would have felt like she wasn't a queen. She was beyond that, or king or queen of the Seven Kingdoms. She was going to be an empress.
Yeah. Well, she completely had her whole doctrine down.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that she's liberating all these people by burning them alive.
It's
that's
the delusion,
classic,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's classic Dungeons and Dragons villain. That is just epic. I really appreciated that.
I did feel for when she did get to the throne, and then she suddenly snapped into a childlike sort of, it's amazing kind of thing. So that's how she didn't see it coming.
Yeah. Well, it's her vision, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's been this debate online as well about whether her vision, because they made the vision look like it was snowing, and I think that was supposed to be originally.
Yeah.
Well, I think yeah, that's the thing, is that it is the ash, and that's the cleverness, is that no, it's not winter, it's the ash. But is that right? I still don't know fully
but
how
then
to read that.
I think it was winter because it was making its way south.
Yeah, but apparently that.
As in the actual
there is
season,
a shot-by-shot comparison.
Yeah. Yeah,
There
true.
is a shot-by-shot comparison of the vision and the final scene of the throne.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's cool if they just leave it ambiguous, because it is almost interpretation.
Yeah.
You know, and what might have been in mind at the time that they came up with that, you know, they might not have got there, but I still feel like it echoes that.
Yeah.
And it's like it brings in, you know, some foreshadowing. And that was in season 2, I think, that vision, she has that vision, or the end of 1. I can't remember exactly. It was very early on.
Yeah. I think the thing is, and also, I mean, hindsight is a thing of beauty, isn't it? Because you can take what's already there and you can chisel off what doesn't quite work, because you never quite know until it's all put out there into the world, and then you can always sit back and say, it's like my version of how the sacking of King's Landing would have been. And the thing is, just how I have a version of what I personally would have liked to have seen with the whole Iron Throne scene. But I admit, that is just my opinion, and that is formed from seeing various things and my wishes and whatever. At the end of the day, the people who made it the way they did, and we have to live with it.
It's dangerous ground to have your own.
It's Star Wars all over again.
If you've got your own version of how things should be, you know, write it down and publish it online, because it's fan fiction at the end of the day. It's not the way it was.
Exactly. And I think that's the problem. It's because there's been a 2-year gap, there's a sense of real entitlement, because people have invested time in their lives and discussing their things, and it feels very personal to a lot of people. And I think that was the problem with it. It's too personal, because it's this big thing that everyone's been loving and being involved in. The Red Wedding, we all survived that together. We all went counselling. We all watched the Boston Bar when Joffrey died. It's all that sort of thing. It's like a tribe, and then something doesn't quite fit to what a lot of the mindset go. You kind of go, ugh. But just humouring me, what I think would have been quite nice was if, at the time when Jon stabs Daenerys, Drogo appears as he did, but he's behind them, the angle changes. Just the angle's changed, and out of rage he blasts them all with fire, melting the Iron Throne in the process. But you see Jon and Daenerys unburnt, confirming he's a Targaryen. Maybe his hair goes white in the process or whatever, but it's just that last confirmation, as well as all the historical stuff that he does. It was
already confirmed.
No, that's what I mean. But that's what I mean. It's almost like there's exposition telling you and all of that, and seeing the history. But it's like a nice last visual cue, knowing how much Targaryen blood there is in him, because it's like, it's enough to ride a dragon. The dragon can smell it and everything. But I just thought it would have been quite nice. But like I said, that's the fantasy element. It's not what happened, but that's why I said humour me.
Sure.
It's an idea. You know, we all have ideas.
We do.
But I thought it was okay. I wish that straight after the my only main gripe with the whole season so far is spending half of the episodes celebrating after winning the war against the dead.
What?
Episode 4. pretty much half of episode 4 was them all being happy. And I remember sitting there thinking, we've got an important story to tell. What the fuck? Speed it up. Come on. It's like...
Yeah, but the strength of the show has always been the character work.
Oh, yeah, totally. But it wasn't
it
really...
was,
But I feel as though, looking back on that, not much really happened. It was just kind of, it slowed down a lot after there. Nothing really happened. It was a good maybe third of the episode or whatever, and then it started picking up again. And I kind of feel that could have been given a bit more time to other scenes. That's just it. But
I thought the second episode was really good when Brienne got
I'm not talking
knighted and
about
all
those
that.
two. Those first 3 episodes were spot on, brilliant. The whole before the dawn, before the long night, that was one of the best episodes and most chilling episodes I've ever watched.
The sense we should probably talk about that a second.
Yeah, the sense that they're all potentially gonna die. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the second that third episode, The Long Night, was pretty good. The thing that I liked about it was that I've never seen a battle stage to that scale that ultimately kind of turned into a bit of a horror film.
Yeah.
I found it was very bleak, very terrifying. The unfortunate thing about it was the sock through which most of us had to watch it.
Yeah.
It really, because of the way they decided to shoot it, I mean, it led for some really epic cinematic scenes, but it was all of the compression and stuff through the various streaming networks.
Yeah.
It really did create a lot of artifacting on the screen. And I watched 2 different streams of it, and both of them were not very good.
No, it's the combination of the dark and the smoke, isn't it? And swirls and everything. It's not great.
It's completely changed my attitude towards physical media as well. Up until that, I think I was just totally done with Blu-rays.
Yeah.
And since that episode, I've bought loads of them because it's just totally reversed my attitude. Because the one thing that makes me want to get Game of Thrones on Blu-ray is to see that battle uncompressed, and in all its glory. Because I don't know how I can do that, because I think the only way that you could get around that was to watch it as it went out on Sky through satellite.
Yeah,
that was the highest quality version of it that was available. But yeah, the battle itself was excellent. It still kind of felt very abrupt, and I didn't expect the whole thing to be resolved with the Night King in that episode.
No.
I really thought we were going to get to a cliffhanger, and then the rest of it would play out in another episode or something.
The one thing about that episode, I really had no idea where it was going, who was going to die.
Yeah.
It felt like you said, it felt bleak. It felt like there was no hope. And then what little hope there was taken away when the Night King resurrected everyone that had died.
Oh God, yeah, and that was so bad.
It didn't feel as though there was anywhere left for you to go, and then suddenly the floor's taken out from you, and you're just left there going, "What the fuck? They're all dead now." You're just I was just sitting there. I literally was just turning to Suze, going, "They're fucked. There is no way out of this." I thought that Bran was going to go. I thought it was going to be a fight to the death for Bran, with him maybe taking over one or two of the generals, with his walking ability, which didn't really see much of anymore. After he took over Hodor, I thought they were teasing at that.
No, he just went and did bird cam.
Yeah, he just went and he aggroed the Night King. That's what he did. Yeah, he got the crows and he aggroed him, and he basically used boss strats. He aggroed the main player, the main boss you need to defeat. Forget about the minions, and he basically brought him near, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I did like. Oh God, what was his name? Theon Greyjoy. What a redemption.
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
I loved that. It was sad that he didn't make it, but the fact that he fought for him after everything that happened, that just really got me.
Oh yeah, it was excellent. yeah, what did you think about the choice of who should rule, I suppose? Unless there's anything else, we could probably end with that.
Yeah. Bran the Broke. To be honest, I felt that the ending felt a bit like a Lord of the Rings ending. Like, it really did. And I know there's dragons and stuff and everything, but it felt weird after all the events of what had happened. That jump to later on, and all of them sitting around in the council and deciding who wins, and then afterwards going to King's Landing, it felt a bit like, this is a bit odd. It feels a bit like a Neighbours ending. Like,
yeah, it was
like
a bit staged.
Going from like a grindhouse sort of brutal movie to a sort of end of not a chick flick, but sort of like a regular sort of drama ending, sort of. It just felt a bit strange to me, but I think that might have just been the come down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe.
It felt as unepic as possible. If it was humorous and funny, it felt like the start. Like I liked the mirroring of Tyrion rearranging all of the seats, like the first time he was Hand of the King, and then they just come and sit down, and you're like, oh, they're all a bunch of whatever.
What did you think about the, here's a book that one of the Meisters has written?
Yeah.
It's called A Song of Ice and Fire.
That's what made it more Lord of the Rings for me. It was a bit like, oh, was it written by Bilbo Baggins? An Ice and Fire tale by Danny T.
I like that they subverted that a little bit, where they said, yeah, you're not mentioned.
No. And he was like, not at all? Nope.
But, I thought it was I could see the reasoning with Bran. It's just weird, though, when you think about the fact that they omitted Bran from an entire season of the show.
Yep. He had to do his exams, didn't he, or something like that?
I think it was a little bit of that, but I think they... I don't know. They just sort of deprioritised his.
The memes will go on. You know, it's like they say, when you don't put anything into the group effort and still get an A. I think it's the greatest meme so far. But that's the thing. He's seen it all, so no wonder he was sitting there so smugly.
Yeah.
Handing Arya the dagger. We now know why.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I don't want it. And it's like, okay. You think it's just him being weird Bran? You kind of go, no, he's seen this.
No,
he's done a Doctor Strange. He's looked at all 14 billion.
Yeah, pretty much. I think what I'm looking forward to is maybe leaving it a year or two, and then getting the Blu-rays and sitting there and watching it all kind of in one long run.
That's the thing. I often find that, I mean, it's hard with a TV show, but when you know, it's like some films, once you know what the plot is, you don't have to spend so much of your brain capacity trying to figure that out, and then you just
speculate.
You see more.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to another run at some point.
Yeah. Don't know when I'll end up doing that, but I am trying to give myself time to rewatch things lately. I'm going to be, like I'm doing Tarantino at the moment. I'm going to start the Avengers next. I've pre-ordered Captain Marvel.
Wow.
So, and I've got the Phase 1 box set, and so I'll be starting the MCU again in the next few weeks. So,
bloody hell.
But anyway, I digress. Yeah. So, that's Game of Thrones, and our watch has now ended.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to the Not Watching Podcast, part of the Not Listening Podcast Network, where you can also find the Not Playing Podcast, where we talk about video games, and the Not Listening Podcast, where you can hear Adam and Co talk about all kinds of nonsensical nonsense. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for all our shows at notlistening.co.uk, and if you like what you've heard here, please do leave us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, bye!